Oh, Jesus Christ. I tell you, this makes the gaping on the stocks not seem so bad. Them fingers wouldn't be too practical, mind you. What's the crack, everyone? Welcome back to Buy Wholesale. I hope, of course, you are all well. Bit of crack there at the start. It is the season of spookiness. Halloween is upon us, which is my favorite time of the year. October is my favorite month. So much that it was my birthday, and I got this from my kids. The Money Man headquarters. So if I ever have that in the background of my videos, don't think that I made that myself. I didn't. My kids call me the Money Man because I'm always wheeling and dealing, I guess. They always laugh at me packing my Amazon boxes and selling whatever and meeting somebody to flog a Hoover. Whatever it may be. But yes, we put into the Discord today any ideas for the clickbait titles. And again, people comment underneath, oh, you're saying it's going to crash, you're always saying this, and oh, your title, what do you mean 5 days left to prepare, what's all? It's clickbait, guys. It's generally nonsense. Now I did talk about potentially in a week's time when the market would be gaped out, which we're going to talk about. I tried to make them relatively sort of reasonably in line with what the content of the video is, but I'll just show you. As you can see here, this was when I was trying to be positive. Maximize your gains, more swing trades. We're all in, conquer the market, swing trading, 300, 400 views, 500 views, rubbish. Then you switch it to, it's over, meltdown. And you can see 2,000, 1,000 and a half, it makes a difference. So not my fault, guys. It's the people who watch the videos. Anyway, I said here, can we cover some stuff? I will have code all out this week. And I love this here, Market Apocalypse Now. But I really liked Nightmare on Wall Street. And that is the theme of the thumbnail, and that is the theme of the video. Wall Street has taken an absolute pounding again over the week, as you can see behind me. Very little that made any green days. There's a couple in there, as always. But generally speaking, it was one hell of a gaping. As expected, this is the S&P chart on the daily chart. You can see we reset this. We fell below, and I said now that we've closed below, it's just going to sell off more, and that's unfortunately where it is. I did say that this would be your first level of resistance. It looks to be holding up at this stage, very early days, but if you actually look at the RSI and MACD, it would suggest that a sort of a bounce is coming. Would it be on like this bounce? We go up a bit and down, so perhaps we'll draw a line here. Could we see something like this? Or could we scroll back if you're looking for a bullish scenario and see something like this, where we went below and then we rallied hard on up? Your guess is as good as mine. I do foresee the market crashing really, really hard. I do foresee a lot of pain. As I covered in the last week's video, a lot of people said it was very doom and gloom, but that's the reality of it. But that's your S&P. Looking at the weekly chart, you can see we're still not there yet. Said we need to go down and test this. So that's what I'm waiting for. And on the same sort of vein, the opposite of that is the Bitcoin dream. Now, this is a dream. We've been waiting very, very patiently for Bitcoin to start getting going again. And as you can see, as of right now, that lovely black line that's very, very difficult to see. You can actually see we are back to May 22 prices. And this is a strong level of resistance. We have really struggled to break above this, and it's acted as good support. So previous support now becomes resistance. And that means we are going to struggle at this level. We can see we're massively oversold, massively overbought. So I wouldn't be touching Bitcoin at this stage, but I'm watching it very carefully. And where I'm watching it very carefully, because if we strip it down, you can see here on the day chart, we've had a lovely bull run. We're back above the 200. And if you bought on the close, which if you bought the trading course, you would know when to buy. You'd be buying here and you'd be riding this up 21%. What I'm waiting for before I actually properly buy into Bitcoin, I'm waiting for us to close above. Now, people will say, well, we've closed above before, but we didn't really, because this one was the only one maybe slightly over. This one we kind of, but the wick and the you wouldn't be closing on any of these here. Potentially this one might have caught you out. You might have bought on this one. But for me, we're still not there yet. We need it to happen and we need to break above this resistance. So those Bitcoin bulls, I would just be holding a little bit longer. But the Bitcoin rally is coming. It's coming very, very soon. Please like and subscribe to the channel because I'm going to be covering a lot of crypto Bitcoin news once we get back into a bull run. I cover enough bearish stuff without covering the Bitcoin bear run. Worst October for stocks in 5 years has investors exiting the market. We talked about smart money last week. The smart money is getting well out of this. A lot of shorting going on and a lot of safe haven buys such as gold. The Dow drops more than 350 points to end a brutal week. The S&P closes in correction territory. Correction territory is debatable. Now, last week we did have big tech earnings. Some were good, some were bad. Amazon had a decent earnings report. The likes of Microsoft had a decent earnings report, but then there was a lot of gaping out there as well. The likes of Alphabet. But look, just to show a bit of encouragement, you can see here Amazon hit off its 200-day moving average and has bounced. And it's worthwhile. It is worthwhile having a look at these things. Now, Microsoft did the opposite. It popped on earnings and then has sold off a bit, as always. You see that. But it's nowhere near its 200-day moving average. Facebook is the same. Now, Apple is the interesting one because it has went into a bear market. Now, that is the one stock that I have said that's the one that's going to sink this market. So I have very, very close eyes on Apple, but in terms of the weekly chart, we're miles away from it, miles away. You need Apple to fall in and around probably by the time it gets there about 7-8% before it goes into a bear market on the weekly. We're going to look at Reuters today then for the week ahead. Wall Street week ahead, frazzled US stock investors eye frothy treasury market as Fed looms. Financial markets are bracing for what could be a momentous week with a Federal Reserve meeting US employment and earnings from technology heavyweight Apple. So again, following on from what I just said there, this is make or break, I feel, this week. This is huge. All bets are off. Wouldn't be investing in the market. I'd be waiting very much on Apple's earnings. It has the power to make this stock market rebound. With coupled in with the S&P stuff that we looked at there earlier, it is set up for a rebound. A lot of the bigger stocks, weighted stocks, are still doing reasonably well, still all in the bull market. Apple's not. So if this earnings can put Apple above, get back into a bull run, then we might see that sort of bounce that I still kind of hopeful for. I mean, the markets are horrendous. There's one hell of a crash coming, but I still fancy some sort of bounce. I don't know why, but I just have this feeling that we're not there yet. Although last week's video, you would think that the world was ending, but that was more what's going to come sort of video. October has lived up to his reputation for volatility. It surged treasury yields, geopolitical uncertainty pressures rocks the S&P down 3.5% for the month, adding to losses that have left over 10% of its late July high. Investors worry that yields could rise further as the Fed reinforces hawkish messages at the central bank's November the 1st monetary policy meeting. As we've talked about before, they are doing very well at staying bearish. 12 months ago, I would have said there'd probably be a pivot this year. Don't think that's going to come now. Actually, I'm pretty sure that's not going to come now. So credit where credit's due. They are having this hard line and they're sticking to it. Now, almost the forecast looks to be the opposite. If you go down the rabbit hole more, perhaps potentially you're looking at them not changing rates lower maybe for another 12 months, which is to really try and cripple and break down the market. There's so many different theories and different things out there. It's very, very hard to know. We'll just have to try and gauge it as we come. But the charts, thankfully, don't lie. So just keep an eye on the charts. You'll always be okay. I love swing trading. And the reason I swing trade is because it protects me from this. There's a lot of people feeling a lot of pain. For example, American Battery Technology, which looked at, 8%. What a great day. But yeah, let's have a look at how it actually performed. It's down 77% since March. And a lot of this we called in our last video, but when we were at this kind of level, no one expected less than a month to see it fall 50%. A lot of pain on that dream. There really, really is. And that's growth stocks in a market where it's selling off. But then on the flip side, we also have growth stocks such as our Coral Minerals, which decided at one stage to pop over 45%, closing up about 34% almost on the week. So there is winners, there is losers in any type of market, that is for sure. And even in a bearish type of market, because the S&P is now bearish, you'll get stuff that will pop. Now, some more bullish news. In the 14 instances where the S&P has gained at least 10% through July and then declined in August, as it did this year, the index has increased every time over the last 4 months of the year. According to the Davis's research, the average gain in those instances has been 10%. Stocks appear oversold, and we've looked at the charts. I would actually back up that the S&P is oversold. According to technical indicators, and could rally if economic data comes in as expected. The stock market is poised for a late Q4 rally. Now, anyone that's been investing in the game long, I remember last year the Santa rally. Well, the Santa rally never came, but it is a thing. So if you're even just looking at general trends and stuff from that basis at a high level, yeah, S&P's oversold, looks to be bouncing, looks to be due a bounce. Apple earnings could come out and pop it, which would be a good strong catalyst. And then you throw in the fact that just generally there's always a Santa rally, statistics like this, it's swaying towards, yeah, there's maybe a bounce. And then that would tie back into the theory of we're going to get one more final bounce before the rug pull. And I still fancy that rug pull to be in 2024. And I think what we're seeing with Bitcoin and the switchover and the safe haven is giving me a bit more confidence that that's probably likely what's going to happen. You're going to find a lot of people in the new year really selling off their stocks and rotating into the likes of, you know, high risk plays like Bitcoin, but also loading up on your more safe havens, your gold and your silvers and stuff. So that's kind of it, guys. It was a bit of a high level video today. I spent a lot of time doing that intro, which really provided nothing. What was I watching last night? And I went, God, things people say, oh, we're losing control. Back in the day, what film was I watching last night? It doesn't really matter what film I was watching. I was watching a Jimmy Savile thing with Steve Coogan, which is really good. We're on another episode of it. And Jimmy Savile was doing the commentary. Steve Coogan was sort of on the radio saying there's a film that came out and the Pope had to step in and get it banned because it was too bad for people to watch. That doesn't happen anymore. So people that say we're getting more and more control, we've lost all our freedom, I don't buy into that. I really, really don't. I think, yeah, there's maybe certain ways that they're going to try and control finances and different things. I see the pros actually to that, you know, stop drug relief, stop people tax dodging, you know, different things like that. So, like, yeah, they're doing things to get more control, but it could be a pro. There's obviously negatives, you know, cashless system, you know, is that a good thing for society? You know, all that. I don't really know. But I think if you keep yourself clean and you comply with the law, you're always going to be okay. And definitely even from the back in the day when you couldn't do half the things. I mean, Elvis Presley, for Christ's sake, used to come out, shake his hips and the place would go wild. We've become more and more flirtatious, let's just say, with life. And I think, you know, the governments and stuff have allowed that to happen. So the whole rabbit hole stuff, yeah, it's good to go down and have a read of it, but always do your own due diligence as always. Please like, subscribe, help me grow the channel. A couple of new members joining the Discord. Welcome. I'll be catching up with you then. And yeah, the trading course is there for anyone that wants to join. And that also includes the lifetime access to the Discord. I'll see you all in the next video, guys. Have a great Halloween and I will talk to you all soon. Peace.